Mr. President, I rise to urge my colleagues to reject Frank Bisignano's nomination to be the Commissioner of the Social Security Administration. The first 100 days of Donald Trump's second term have been filled with chaos and cruelty that has reached into every corner of American life. But perhaps no development has been as alarming to the elderly and other concerned Americans as the attacks of the Trump administration on Social Security. Social Security has long been considered a third rail of American politics. It is simply too important to American workers who have spent their lives paying into the program out of every paycheck for politicians to idly propose major changes that would harm the earned benefits of Americans. And yet Donald Trump and his billionaire allies have decided they are simply immune to the concerns of American citizens. They're about to find out just how wrong they are. Over the past several months, the Trump administration has attacked nearly every aspect of Social Security. First, it was American sensitive private information protected by Social Security. Then it was scheduling field offices for closure across the country. Then it was eliminating phone service for many Social Security claims. Worst of all, there is a widespread view among Donald Trump's top lieutenants, from Elon Musk to Howard Lutnick, that Social Security is just chock full of fraudsters. The whiplash caused day by day and all the disruption and chaos has resulted in bedlam at Social Security. And in my view, it has put the earned benefits of millions of Americans in jeopardy. Mr. President, I wish I could stand in the Senate today and say, the cavalry is coming. The chaos will soon be over. But I'm afraid that's not the case. If Frank Bisignano is confirmed, he's going to bring more chaos, lies, and callous disregard for Americans who count on Social Security that the Trump administration has brought to the agency through DOGE. That was front and center when the nominee came before the Finance Committee in March. Just before the hearing, Mr. President, I received a very valuable statement from a whistleblower, a former senior official at Social Security. The whistleblower stated that Mr. Bisignano had been deeply involved in the DOGE chaos at Social Security. The whistleblower said, and I quote, "I'm concerned that the President's nominee to be Commissioner of Social Security, Frank Bisignano, will not temper the crisis, but will bolster it." The allegations presented by the whistleblower center around Elon Musk's DOGE and their attempts to access Social Security databases that hold reams of sensitive personal information of every single American. These databases, Mr. President, represent the Fort Knox of Americans' personal lives. Bank account numbers, home addresses, work histories, salaries, medical records. DOGE's cronies wanted unfettered access to the database. They're still fighting for that as we speak after they've been blocked in court. According to the whistleblower, Mr. Bisignano personally appointed his Wall Street friend, Michael Russo, to be the leader of the DOGE team at Social Security. According to the Washington Post, which independently verified, Mr. President, the whistleblower's account, and I'll quote here, after Russo had trouble persuading the career staff to expedite the hiring of a DOGE software engineer named Akash Boba, Mr. Bisignano personally intervened to instruct Social Security staff to onboard Mr. Boba and give him immediate access to the agency's private data systems. Bisignano did not address what role he may have had in helping Mr. Boba gain access. Boba and Russo did not respond to requests for comment. That's a direct quote from the Washington Post newspaper. My view is this is a remarkable statement, Mr. President, that ought to alarm all Americans. I asked Mr. Bisignano about his affiliations with DOJ before, during, and after his hearing. Each time he disavowed the whistleblower's challenge. I viewed that moment as an opportunity for Democrats and Republicans to come together, as we've done so often on a bipartisan basis, and get to the bottom of this before the Finance Committee reported the nominee to the full Senate. Unfortunately, my Republican colleagues didn't see it that way. I started by asking the chairman of the Finance Committee for a bipartisan meeting with this whistleblower to evaluate their claims and seek additional evidence to determine if the nominee lied to members of the committee. The majority refused to hold that meeting or postpone the vote unless we agreed to hand over any information received from the whistleblower directly to the nominee in the Trump administration. Mr. President, I just want to be clear on this point. This is a violation of Whistleblowing 101. That's because it allows the government to identify the individual blowing the whistle through a process of elimination. It jeopardizes the whistleblower's anonymity and safety, and I'm going to have no part of that as the co-chair of the Whistleblower Caucus with my friend Senator Grassley. There's a long bipartisan tradition in the Senate of treating whistleblowers with great respect and deep care. I'm here to warn America now about a dangerous erosion of congressional oversight that will have a chilling effect on public servants who are thinking about coming forward and blowing the whistle when government agencies are acting against the interests of the Americans they serve. Mr. President, I fear that the events that I have just described are going to cause public servants who want to do the right thing to put away their whistles. That is bad for good government. It's bad for congressional oversight of laws we delegated to the executive branch through our constitutional authority, and it is bad for Americans who expect their government to be responsive and transparent. The double whammy of disrespect for Social Security and the Americans who count on its earned benefits, along with the culture of secrecy and lies that exist throughout the Trump administration, is a bad omen for what's ahead for Social Security. Even if the Republican Party decides to pretend none of this is happening, Americans from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine, all of them are speaking out literally this weekend. All Americans should be concerned that a nominee for a position of public trust like Commissioner of Social Security is accused of lying about his actions at the agency, and that effort to bring this important information to light is now being thwarted. If Mr. Bisignano can get away with lying before he's even in place as commissioner, who knows what else he'll be able to get away with once he's in office. He could lie by denying any American who paid their Social Security taxes the benefits they've earned, claiming some phony pretense. He could lie about how sensitive personal information is being mishandled or worse, exploited for commercial use. I'll close with this, Mr. President. I'm going to have a lot more to say about the nominee and the Trump administration's disastrous record on Social Security. Today, I urge my colleagues to vote no on the cloture vote coming up to bring some sanity back to Social Security and, in my view, safeguard the Senate's long and bipartisan tradition as a safe haven for government whistleblowers who want to speak truth to power. Mr. President, I yield the floor.